we told you how the families of the Uvalde school shooting in Texas are now suing FedEx and UPS. They say the companies shipped the gun and gun parts used by the shooter. The lawsuit claims the carriers violated federal codes for interstate sales of firearms and that UPS broke a federal law that bans firearms within 1,000 feet of schools. Joining me now to discuss, Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. And Khalif, this lawsuit, it accuses FedEx and UPS of multiple oversights, a reckless disregard for human life. Now, when they ship those weapons to that 18-year-old, do they have any kind of issues here? Does this lawsuit hold any weight going forward?
Remember, these are most extreme situations, right? Extremely unfortunate. I remember when Columbine happened, the very first thing I could think of is, wow, how did that happen at school? Since that time, we've had multiple school shootings. And so in the aftermath, there's always some type of change and there's some type of lawsuit. I mean, Remington was sued in the Sandy Hook shooting, $73 million settlement. This is a classic case in law school where they tell you to sue everyone involved and then try to figure out where the chips may fall. And so you've seen a number of different lawsuits against the school, against the police department. A month ago, you saw them sue Microsoft and Activision Games because they said Call of Duty led this individual to say, you know, this type of killing is something that's normal. This, I think, is probably the most extreme that I've seen, where you're attempting to sue not the seller, not Daniel Defense, but actually let's try to sue UPS and FedEx for delivering the firearm. I had an opportunity to look at the complaint. I see a couple of issues with both claims in the complaint. First of all, the firearm that was sold was delivered to an FFL. That's the normal process. If I order a gun online, it won't be sent to me. It will be sent to a FFL. Then I'll have to go pick that up from the FFL, show them my identification. They'll do the checks, and then I'll get my firearm. The problem with that part of the lawsuit is that he was under 18, and so there is a violation there, and I think they'll have merits to that. But the actual hold them liable for the damages that happen after, I think that would be a stretch. Additionally, the second portion, that liability really wouldn't be on the deliverer. It would be on Daniel Defense, who sold him the firearm. The other portion is when they're saying he shipped that portion of the gun that made it become a automatic weapon, that it held fire to, that takes it like a bump stock. That was delivered to him, but it's not a firearm. It's a part of a firearm which can be delivered or purchased online because it's just an accessory to a firearm. And so I think they're extremely crafty with their attempt to say delivering that within the school zone falls within the regulation. I think the court will have to determine that one. That will be really a 50-50 gamble to see how a judge is either persuaded or not persuaded by that argument.
Yeah, is this something that could be set a precedent for companies going forward when you have some sort of incident like this? And also when you're talking about the social media companies like Meta and their responsibility in some ways kind of perpetuating this type of thing online.
I mean, that lawsuit that they filed against Meta and Activision said that you have engaged in a process that has encouraged and promoted this type of violence and engaging in this type of thing where you're showing 18-year-olds or 17-year-olds at the time guns and video games and connecting those two, and you have a responsibility. So I think the legitimacy of those types of claims are there, and I think those types of claims will continue to see them. When you're suing school districts, we'll see them. I think it's an extreme stretch to say that you can sue a distributor, because Congress has talked about how you want to ensure that you can have commerce and things being placed in the mail and move freely. That's why we have FFLs established, where we know a firearm won't go to an individual, that it will go to a firearm federally licensed company, and they will check this individual before they give it to them. I think holding that company liable, a FedEx or a UPS, I don't think that they're standing, and I don't think it will create a precedent. It would be extremely hard for me to see any judge following their rationale or their reasoning that hold them liable, because the standard is that I owed you a duty to not provide a firearm to this person, and I didn't. I provided it to the FFL. So I think, again, very crafty lawyering, and you got some individuals in those rooms that are probably way smarter than me, but I think they have missed the mark with attempting to create liability. Again, extremely wrong, terrible situation.
There is the emotional aspect out of this when everyone can say be very sympathetic to Newtown and also to Sandy Hook and also for Uvalde as well. All right, Khalif, thanks.